Okay, hello. Welcome to a new day 365, my channel on addiction, relapse, and recovery. Um, it's funny because I'm just using this function, the dual record, where it uses front and back camera. Couldn't figure out why my front camera wasn't working. It's because I had a piece of tape over the camera, like I always do. But anyways, I guess it's working now. So today's November 5th, 2024, and here I am. And I haven't made a video in a while. You know, it's I hate saying it, like, but it's the truth. Like I relapsed again. I relapsed first in September, and then again in October. And my relapse lasted about a month. And you know what's funny? I'm okay with it this time. I'm not kicking myself in the ass. I'm not beating myself up for it. That was about after 7 months of sobriety, abstinence. But I came back quick, and and trust me, like I say every time, it gets worse. It gets worse every time. I used quite a bit of dope this time. I was, for the month of October, I was just flying. Probably awake. I think I was awake 25 out of 31 days. I was awake about 24, 25 days in October. I know at one point I was up for 2 weeks straight. I had slept for 4 days, and then I was up for another 10 days, and at that point I was like, I gotta go to fucking detox. And I made my way to detox. Made some arrangements while I was in there, and today I'm back on track. I'm in a good spot. I'm in contact with my fellowship. I am working a program again. I am just, thank God, and I'm connected with my higher power. I'm still doing two-way prayer. I got connected with an online group there. I don't know. I don't want to just talk about me. But that's what this is about, I guess, this channel. So I can identify what led up to my last relapse. And there's a few things. Like, some of it is not being able to take advice fully, to take suggestion fully from my sponsor. I had no right getting into relationships so early in recovery, and that's part of it, right? All selfish things, right? All self-centered things. And when things in the relationship didn't pan out the way that I thought they should, or the way I wanted them to, the way Jim wanted to control them and make them happen. When one little thing went sideways, and that led to myself feeling inadequate, or less than, or not good enough. The first impulse in my mind and body was to use dope, and there wasn't even a thought behind it. It was just like, hold on one second. Look at this. The first impulse my body knew was that, smashing dope feels better than this feeling of inadequacy, or this feeling of less than. And there was no thought to it. It was just an impulse. And I went and used. And you know what? Now that I think back to the first one, there was an impulse. There was. But I remember walking up the street, and I remember thinking to myself the whole time, I could change my mind. I could call someone. But at the same time, there's that voice in the back of my head that just said, no, fuck it, go get high, right? I just didn't want to feel like me in that moment. And it's a weakness, it's a character defect, it's like, it's something that, it's an immaturity even, right? I've got to be able to kind of grow up and deal with adult emotions. And I just lost my sticker for my camera. Shitty. That's okay. And that's just something I've learned about myself in this last relapse. What's different today? I don't know if anything's different today. Well, you know what? Like I said, I only relapsed solid for about a month. In total, it was 2 months, September and October. But I was able to stop a little bit in September and then really stop towards the end of October. So it was only about a month. My last relapse was 6 months, right? And that ran my life into the ground. What's different this time? You know what? There are differences. One being that short relapse. Two being I wasn't only thinking about myself. I started to think about, my kid's mom, and I started thinking about my kids. What am I doing to them? How does this affect them? How does this ongoing process of recovery and relapse affect them? Like, am I leaving them hanging? Am I just leaving this up in the air? Like, they're always waiting for me, always waiting for daddy. Like, daddy's good for a little while, then he disappears, and then, like, and I started to think about that. I started to think about, like, one or two of the guys I was living with, who are also in active addiction. How can I help these guys get out of their thing, right? Yeah, that kind of brings me to where I am today, and so I'm back in the big book and just kind of reconnecting with God, thinking about God, trying to think about God a little more than I think about myself, trying to think about what can I do for the next guy, the next person, how can I help them? Sometimes, and I don't know if it's true or not, but these videos are one way in which I try to help the next person, right? What I've come to learn is that I can't do this on my own. My brain cannot fix my brain, right? I mean, I can, and I have a thinking problem, right? I have a emotional problem. I have a spiritual malady. And when I choose to connect with my higher power, and when I choose to think about other people before me, things get a little bit better, right? First and foremost, I need to remember that I am powerless, right? And I need to seek power from without, externally, from without, side of myself, that can help me conquer this urge, this impulse to get high when I don't feel good. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And do I really know what I'm talking about? Not really. I'm just letting the gums flap, I guess. I just want you to know that I've relapsed. I haven't given up. I'm back. And I'm just going to double down. Double down with my higher power. Double down with fellowship. Double down with service and helping others. Because what I've learned is a life run on self-will. My life, I'm speaking of mine. A life run on self-will can hardly be a success. And, and one thing I do know is that I'm not a fuck up. I'm not a fuck up. I've messed up. I've made mistakes. I'll continue to make mistakes. But those mistakes don't have to be as they can be less. They don't have to be as detrimental. I don't know the right word right now. They don't have to be as detrimental as they've been in the past. Anyways, this is my message. Just wanted to say hi. Happy Trump Day. Love you all. And we'll see you in the future. Bye.